Hello, I'm Toycat, and 1.17 will of course be changing Minecraft caves in a variety of ways, some of which are obvious by looking at them, and some of which aren't, like the fact that they're increasing the depth limit of Minecraft from 0 to -64. This creates a whole new section of Minecraft which was previously unexplorable and will now exist, and today I wanted to talk about the differences you can expect down here, because of course, again, it's very different to look at. The Deepslate makes a very different looking resource that makes it clear when you're here, but what exactly else changes between layer 0 and -64? That's what I wanted to go over in today's video, because there are some really astounding changes like this, the brand new fossils, which you'll find exclusively down here, and which really make fossils useful again. So fossils were added in 1.11, but this is the first time they've been truly useful, and they are the first example of a feature which is entirely different down here, because instead of generating with coal ore, which is, I guess, semi-valuable, now if you find a fossil below if you find it between 0 and -64, you will instead find it with diamond ore. That's right, fossils are no longer just a way to find coal, and bone blocks, two resources which are not particularly hard to find because of the availability of skeletons and also coal everywhere else, but now diamond ore is one of the things you can find inside these fossils. So now it's actually worth excavating the fossils beyond just the curiosity of like, oh yeah, there is a kind of brand new thing that you're probably only seeing once, because as you excavate the fossil and you look around for more of it, you do of course have a chance of finding diamond ore, which is kind of accurate. I mean, fossils, if they are from dinosaurs long ago, which is what they look like, then of course they would be contained with a lot of very high pressure things, and those high pressure resources might just result in some diamonds. Hey, finally! Just like we found over here after, I'll admit, 50 blocks of mining, but as you can see, 50 blocks of mining, and now we found another diamond ore. And also, isn't that diamond ore brand new? Again, if you follow the snapshots, you might recognize why that is, but if you're not following the snapshots, why does the diamond ore look so different? And of course, that's because it is Deepslate diamond ore that we're looking at. This over here is Deepslate redstone ore, this is Deepslate iron ore, and you get the point. Any ore that can generate below Y0 will have a Deepslate variant so that it matches the blocks around it. I mean, try to imagine some diamond ore with stone around here, and you can see that, like, yeah, I guess it makes more sense this way. So yeah, all of the ores that you find below layer 0, this is the second change, will now be surrounded by Deepslate instead of looking like they will normally. So this is a important distinction to make, because if you have a silk touch pickaxe, we don't today because we're too poor, but if you have a silk touch pickaxe, you'll be able to now pick up a brand new type of diamond ore. So if you want to really flex on people, rather than making a house out of diamond ore, which is an absolutely great idea, make a house out of Deepslate diamond instead. It's a really good idea you should definitely take up. And also, to move on to the third change, it has to go without saying, but it is a difference. When you go below layer 0, you'll spot you've gone below layer 0 because of all this Deepslate. So this is Deepslate. When you mine it, it becomes cobbled Deepslate. You can then smelt it up to get the regular Deepslate. It's a thing you can choose to do. It's great, but basically, it works like stone in every way. However, it is slightly harder to mine. Even with a netherite pickaxe, look how slow I'm mining this block. So just bear in mind that although there are more rewards down here, the diamond fossils being one of them, the Deepslate ores being a great flex being the other one, it is harder to mine the blocks down here, including the ores, etc. And that is a big change. Another big change that you might not think of immediately, but as soon as you mention it, it's like, oh, that explains that, is below layer 0 is the only place you can find these Tuff Blocks. These blocks call themselves Tuff, but if you look at them, if we actually go for a little comparison mine right here, here is me mining the Deepslate ore, and here is me mining the Tuff Block. But if you want a bunch of these blocks, don't think that it's a tough endeavor. I assure you, you can do it incredibly easily, and I would sign the petition to rename it to Easy Block, because that's what it really is, or Easy to Mine Block. You know what? The name is not coming to my head right now, but that is the fourth change that you can expect below 0. Another thing that has to be mentioned is that where you previously found lava is going to change. In fact, pretty much anything that you measured from bedrock is now going to be slightly different, because instead of finding lava about layer 10, lava pits are now very frequent, but at -40 to -50, you'll find them in the Deepslate realms. So to prove that, here is a lava pit over here. Here is a lava source, just a single one, so that's 2 bits of lava. Here is a second lava source, a third bit of lava, and then just over this hill right here, you might not have seen it yet, but just over here, there is another lava pit. There is a lot of lava found below here, and you just need to keep that in mind if you want to stay safe, because obviously lava burns. I mean, I've learned that lesson the hard way, I've learned that lesson the easy way, and hopefully you too can take from my... Oh, damn it. No, I did not die, although, you know, if I did die, it would be a valuable lesson for you to remember that the caves because they're so huge, just because they look lit with the occasional glow lichen or some lava sources, it doesn't mean they are fully lit, and you will still find mobs, and sometimes those mobs will try to kill you. Speaking of things that try to kill you, before we move on to the next friendly little fact, let's just give you a quick little mention that there isn't exclusively a lack of stone below layer 0, it's just it doesn't generate naturally in the walls and stuff, and here is exactly why that happens. This is an aquifer, or aquifer, I think it's actually meant to be. I say aquifer and people get upset. So it's an aquifer, you find lots of water here, or is it an aquifer actually? I don't know anymore, but this is where you find the water below the ground. We're deep in the deep slate layer, but there's water, but lava can still generate on top of that, meaning that stone will generate, but not by, choice, but because of the collision of two features. So bear in mind, you can find stone below layer 0, it's just not common, natural, or really intended, but you can find it. So that's the sixth little fun fact. You can find stone down here, but only in one particular way. And the next one here is to do with what you'll find in these aquifers, these underwater lakes, let's call them, to avoid using their real name and me getting confused about what it's called, because this underground lake thing is the future site of where you'll find axolotls. Axolotls, and indeed, according to the game files, glow squid will spawn in these caves. This is something you can expect below layer 0. Right now, there is some problems where if you're below an ocean, you can expect to find fish in here too, but fish are not the long-term inhabitants of these cave lakes. Instead, this is where glow squids and axolotls will be found, so there are kind of two mobs you basically have to get super down low to find, and I think that's great. I also think that the lapis lazuli ore, but in deep slate, looks wonderful, but that's a story for another time, because what else has changed down here, you might be asking? Should we move on to the 8th little change? And so to give you a useful explanation of the next one, let's go into creative and let's show you what happens if we make a little cross section of a chunk in our world. So we've destroyed all the blocks in just a single chunk. Isn't this beautiful? And you can see that oh yeah, below layer 0, there's the deep slate thing I mentioned. It slowly takes over the stone. Here are the deep slate ores slowly taking over the regular ones. This is actually quite interesting by itself. But something you'll notice is that coal ore will not spawn below deep slate. If you want coal, if you want to keep fueling your torches, you will need to go back above layer 0. That is an interesting thing about the new caves. Even though you can now find some fuel to sustain your body, some food in the form of glowberries below layer 0, you cannot find the coal there, so you're going to have to go up to stone layer to find some coal ore blocks, or bring enough coal below with you if you want to find any of that. If you look around, you'll find 0 coal ore, and because deep slate coal ore does not naturally spawn, you can't find it. Also, if you're below a mountain, you won't find any deep slate emerald. That is just also a thing that doesn't exist. Speaking of things that don't exist, previously, something that didn't exist, here's another great change. If you have a beacon, let's say, a great late game item, which if you're watching this video, you're more likely to have than otherwise. If you build yourself a beacon, the beacon will go up infinitely, which is a really fun little quirk, and so it'll give you those effects as infinitely as you like. So if we, why is it not working? Oh, it's not. Oh, it's not working because we need to poke a layer on the surface up there. Maybe we could just change this to be up to, I don't know, 70. There we go. Oh no, I don't know what I just did, but it was not what I was intending to. Wait, there we go. Okay, the beacon effect is going by accident. A little bit of a mess up there, but it's fine. We make some modern art in Minecraft in these videos sometimes. They're rough explanations, but I hope they explain. And so if we want the speed effect, let's say, we can now get that speed effect by placing this beacon at layers -64 all the way up. Because the way beacons work, or rather are supposed to work, I find their actual implementation is a little bit crazy, is anywhere where there is a beacon beam, anywhere above, where you are in range of the beacon beam, you are in range of the beacon effect. Meaning all the way over here, despite that beacon being placed at -64, I can be all the way up at the sky limit of 320, and you'll now be able to reach it. Basically, beacons, one of the late game strongest items in Minecraft, just got a little bit more powerful because you can place them a few blocks further below the ground, something I think is incredible personally, and something I think you think should be, I think that you should think that this is incredible, I think. And yeah, beacons have got a little bit of a buff you'll really appreciate if you're a big beacon user, especially if you place those beacons at what is currently bedrock. You can now move them to the new bedrock to get 64 more blocks of range effect. And also, I mean, they just look cool, right? So 64 blocks of cool effectiveness, which is extra important. So the last big change I want to mention here, the one that is the reason we're making this video is because the last huge change, all of these changes by themselves make the deep dark more interesting, make the underground more interesting, but as I accidentally got ahead of myself and revealed, the deep dark is the other thing that will only happen below layer -1. If you want to find the deep dark, which is where the warden, the skulk sensor, the trap, the chute, the veins, the candles, and some other bizarre effects will generate. If you want to find those things and that whole biome, it will only be found below layer -1. So in the same way you have to go above layer -1 to find coal now, you can only find the deep dark down here, and we don't know too much about how the biome will function in practice, plus the warden, etc. But I imagine in the next few weeks, that's when we'll find that out. That is going to be the big decider of whether below layer 0 is just a cool place you find some new blocks, or whether it's a cool place where you find new blocks but at incredible risk, or whether it's a place where you find cool new blocks and there's an occasional annoying monster. I am so curious about the warden and the deep dark, and I could spend all day talking about it, but I'll do you a favor, and I'll only spend the next 30 seconds saying that the deep dark and the warden are going to be some of the most terrifyingly designed mobs in Minecraft, because unlike the Wither, which is the current hardest mob, they're not designed with the intention of you killing them and getting a late game item from it. They're designed to be avoided like natural disasters. That is such a bold claim by Minecraft developers that even as I say it, I'm like, they're not going to be able to live up to it. But what if they can? What if they can make a mob that feels both fair but also incredibly unfair in how it can destroy you? That's a challenge that I'd like to see them take on. But for now, this has been a video on the internet. I hope you all enjoyed it. A quick reminder that even if you really like Deepslate Ores, all of the Deepslate versions of ores do exist right here. Even the emerald, the copper, and the coal, which you can't otherwise find. So if you want to play in creative, those things exist. But if you're a creative player, let's be honest, this video wasn't useful to you, because what can you find below layer 0 as a creative player? I guess more space to build things in. Like, if you wanted to make a beacon, but using Deepslate emerald blocks instead of emerald, you could do that. I mean, it wouldn't work, but I mean, that describes most things that people do in Minecraft and in creative. And speaking of things that don't work, your boy would like you to subscribe to him, because if you'd like me to not work, besides making these videos, however, if you don't consider making videos to be work, the way you can help me not work is by subscribing, and incidentally, that also gives you a 99% reduced chance of house fires. That's probably fact. It's backed up by this, as you can see. So, would you like to help out? I bet you would. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed, because I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.